In this section, I'm going to talk about the whole feature. So I'm going to start menu, mechanical design, part design, and I'm going to have new part here, part one. And here I want to create two different sketches to create my whole. First of all, I want to go to XY plane, go to sketch and create a rectangle here like this. I'm going to make it a little big. So let's have some constraints. This is going to be 200 millimeters and this is going to be about 100. So I type in 150. Oh, that's okay. So I'm going to have another sketch here. I exit my workbench first. I go to XY plane again, and I go to sketch. And now I'm going to create a circle here like this. I'm going to have a constraint that's 200 millimeters of diameter, and I'm going to remove this coincidence constraint. I don't want it. So if I cannot get it, I can go to part body, sketch 2. In constraints, I can see a coincidence. I click on this and hit delete, and now the constraint is gone. The only constraint that is here is the dimension. So I exit my workbench. Right now I have two sketches, and I'm going to pad these two sketches. I want to have the first one about 50 millimeters, so I'm creating a cylinder here. And I'm going to select the pad tool again and select this sketch, and 50 millimeters is okay for this second tool. So I'm going to create a hole, and I'm going to select the face of this object to create a hole on that. So I select this face, for example, and go to select the hole tool from the sketch-based features. Of course, you can go to insert menu and select sketch-based features here, then select the hole tool from here. Now you can see a grid here that will help you to move your hole in that. And for this, I'm going to click or press Control page up a little bit to zoom here. Now you can see that I can grab this hole and move it around wherever I want to have this hole. This is okay here. Of course, you can use the exact location of this using constraint. If you want to do this, you can go to click on position sketch here, and now you can see that I am aligned to this line. Let's zoom out a little bit, and now I can use constraints to move the whole point. I click on this and click on the edge, and you can see that I have a constraint here. I want to have this about 20 millimeters, and again I select constraint, select this point, and select this line. And now this is going to be 20 millimeters again. So I have positioned this, so I exit my workbench, and now you can see that my hole is here. So I can set properties of this hole using this dialog box. You can see that this type of this hole is blind. Blind means dimension, that you're actually entering the diameter and depth of your hole here. Of course, the dimension means the depth of this hole. So if you want to have the depth of this hole through the whole object, you can select up to surface, for example, and select the other surface of this object. Of course, you can use up to last. That means the hole is going through the whole body of your object. And of course, you can select up to plane, up to next, and select the plane or select the next object in on the way of your hole. So I'm going to have it blind, and I'm going to specify the dimension. The diameter is 10 millimeters. That's okay. I'm going to make the depth about 20 millimeters. So this is going deeper. And of course, I can click on this little arrow here, or click on the reverse button here and change the direction of the hole. This doesn't mean anything because I'm not going to create a hole in the air. So I click reverse again and go back to the the correct direction. So in typed here, I can select the type of hole. You can see that this is a simple hole. This has no groove on it. If I want to have this, I can select different types of hole here. For example, if I want to have some angles, I can select tapered. You can see that the angle is going to be defined here 90° by default. I'm going to have it about 45° and see the result here. You can see that there is a preview actually here that shows you how your hole is gonna look like. So I'm not going to have tapered. Let's go to counterboard. You can see that the type of counterboard have two different, digging here. So the first one is the board, and the second one is the counter here. And of course, you can change the parameters and depth of your hole, and you can of course design it using this button. That opens your dialog box that select the definitions that you want to have. I want to click cancel and go back to my previous dialog box. You can see that I have countersink here, like the holes that you create on MDFs or cabinets or wood or anything else. And you can of course define other parameters, and there is a counter drilled one, and this is the type that you can see the preview here. So I'm going to have it about the simple. So let's go to thread definition. In extension, I have still the 20mm and 10mm. I go to thread definition. If I want to have some threads, I will click on threaded, and now I can start defining the type of thread. Its type is dimension. I can of course change it to up to planar support depth. I'm not going to talk about these. You can see that thread definition is like this. I'm going to have thin pitch. Now that I have thin pitch, I'm going to select the type of thread. These are this specification that are standards. I'm not going to talk about this because I do not know anything about these types of standards. You are the one who are supposed to know about this. The thread depth is 10mm and the hole depth is 20mm. I'm going to have the thread depth as much as the hole depth, so I put both of these to 20mm. You can see that I can select the right threaded and left threaded. The right threaded is the thing that I want to have. I click on OK. And of course, I cannot see the grooves because of the problem with my graphic card if I zoom in, but you may see the grooves that you have created here by zooming in and select the hole and select this. So you can see that my hole is here. I have created this, and I can use it to replicate, and we can use it to put it anywhere else, and I will show you how you replicate your object in the next section.